So today, Obama was in Pennsylvania and he had a message for black men.
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences, who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land and is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got health care and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? I'm not. But, Cousin Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time. They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down? That's not acceptable. That's not, this shouldn't even be a question.
Obama is an elite haberdasher. Obama can sell anything to anyone. Doesn't matter where they are, who they are. Obama is elite at what he does. This is why he's here. This is why he's on the campaign trail right now, because they need him to sell and push Kamala Harris. Right now, if you look at all the polls, she is struggling in every state. From the last thing I saw, I haven't seen any state where she has a clear advantage. So they need Obama right now, and this is what he's here for. He can just sell anything way better than Kamala Harris could, way better than anyone in their party. So that's why Obama's here right now. So, brother, if you actually want black votes, how about you run better candidates, make better policy, and do things that actually benefit black men, just like you do for everyone else? Don't be fooled. Don't be tricked. Remember, when Kamala got the nomination at first, Obama didn't even jump and support her. Now, all of a sudden, he's supporting her now. But when Joe Biden first stepped back and said he wasn't running and they were going to push for Kamala Harris, Obama didn't hop right on board because he knew some things were wrong. So he wanted to do a more democratic process, and as we know, they kind of jumped past that, which is fine, was not. So now you have Obama running around, scraping and scrambling and scraping, trying to get votes for her in areas where she's struggling at. And Pennsylvania is a key state. If you're paying attention, you know, if she loses Pennsylvania, she'll be in really big trouble. I don't know all the math on it, but from what I understand, if she loses Pennsylvania, her chances of winning the election is statistically almost impossible. So she needs Pennsylvania badly. So this is why Obama's here. I think he's also in Pittsburgh right now campaigning, and he has to do what he has to do to try to push her over in Pennsylvania. But see, you guys have to understand one thing, and you have to have understanding how things work and how a lot of times the game is played. Obama right now, with this whole video I just played, he is using a typical playbook. You know, for all our guys who play Madden or video games, you know there's a playbook for everything. Every situation has a playbook. Well, in this situation, he's using one of the plays out of the playbook. So this is how the play is ran. The first thing you do is you invalidate the person. The second thing you do is you gaslight the person. Then the last thing you do is you play victim. So that's the play he's playing right now to try to get black people and shame black men into voting for Miss Harris. So the first thing he said to invalidate us is, when you have a choice that is this clear, that's just saying that anything you feel, anything you're thinking doesn't make sense. You should be thinking like I think and we think, because what you're thinking doesn't make sense, because what we're saying is clear. There's no discrepancy. Don't question it. What I'm saying is what you're supposed to be thinking. So that's the invalidation part. So the second part, the gaslighting, is the second part he used. So when he was talking to one of the gentlemen in the audience, you know, he used the word pookie. He pretty much called people who don't agree with him pookies. That's an insult to everyone who gets up every day and go to work like me and everyone else I know. We get up, we go to work every day, we work hard, we try to make a living, we do the best we can. And to call those people pookies because they don't agree with what you're saying is insane, and he needs to be held accountable for that. The last part he did was the victim part. So what he said to use the victim ideology is, he said that you might not feel the idea of a woman becoming president. So now that automatically makes Ms. Harris the victim of the situation, because you have a bunch of black men, basically he calling us misogynist and sexist, saying that we're not feeling having a woman president, which I believe is 100% insane, because that's not how most black men feel. Most black men want a woman to become president, I think. Most black men don't have a problem with it. The problem is when you put people in positions that are unqualified. We understand that if she's not the person, she's not the person. If you look at her record, a lot of black people just can't get down with her record. I mean, if you look at her record in California, where she was locking up a bunch of black men, a bunch of black men are not going to identify or get down with that. They don't care what she says she is. She can say she's black, brown, whatever she is. When you're locking up black men, that's going to be a strike, and she still hasn't answered to it. She still hasn't had an explanation about it or nothing. She just act like it just never happened, and there's record of that going on. So when that type of stuff happens, you can't go along and say, oh, now I'm the victim, or these guys are misogynists for not voting for me, or they don't want to see you in power. It's not that. It's your path on how you got there. A lot of black men, I believe, just don't agree with it. So they're not going to listen to you or vote for you. So with that being said, if you leave them no options, they're probably going to vote for the other candidate or not vote at all, because we don't feel like she's the right person for the job. She's given us no meat and potatoes on anything. Everything is vague. Nothing's direct. So this is why black men aren't getting down with her, or they're not just drinking the Kool-Aid right away. And it's unfortunate, because like me personally, I would love to see a woman become president. I would love to see a black woman become president. If you ask me personally, I think they should have ran Michelle Obama. They should have ran Barack's wife, and not Kamala, because Kamala didn't even get through the primaries in 2020. So how is she all of a sudden trying to become president now when she didn't even get a single vote? And a lot of people think about that stuff, and that has an effect on how a lot of people feel about her and how a lot of people think about her. So you can't get mad at people when you don't do things the right way, and when you don't go and do things through the right channels. So that's pretty much what I have to say about it. I think this is a L for Obama. I think this is an L for Harris, because this doesn't help. You come at black men, but black men is just not feeling it right now. And if anything, you should be trying to sell her good qualities and try to sell her a little bit more towards black men, instead of trying to shame black men into voting for her, because we're not going for it. You're not going to shame black men in 2024 into doing anything they don't want to do. What'll happen is that some of us will speak on it, others will just talk with their silence, and they will just go to the polls and not show up, and their silence will talk for them. So that's just what's going to happen. So like I said, that's all I have to say. That's what I have to say. Thank you again for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.